Did you know that 1 in 4 adults over 65 falls each year? It's a staggering statistic, and these falls aren't just inconvenient. They're the leading cause of injury-related deaths among people over 60. Yet there's a small, almost elusive group of older adults who seem practically immune to this risk. They move with remarkable stability, as if they've tapped into a hidden secret. What sets them apart? The answer might surprise you. These older adults aren't performing strenuous workouts or practicing balance exercises for hours each day. Instead, they've adopted subtle but powerful changes in how they walk. Techniques recommended by geriatric specialists, but rarely shared with the public. Today, we're revealing 7 walking techniques used by older adults who rarely fall. These methods aren't complicated or time-consuming. They're simple adjustments that can become second nature with just a bit of practice. And the 4th technique, it's particularly surprising because most people do it backwards every day without even realizing it, unknowingly compromising their stability. Once you make this small adjustment, you'll immediately notice a difference in how balanced you feel. Let me share a real story to illustrate the power of these techniques. Meet Thomas, a 72-year-old retired engineer. Thomas experienced 3 serious falls within just 6 months, the last one landing him in the hospital with a fractured hip. It was a moment he describes as his wake-up call. After surgery, Thomas thought his independent days were over. His daughter even began researching assisted living options. But everything changed when his physical therapist introduced him to a new way of walking. It wasn't just another set of balance exercises. It was a complete reinvention of his walking technique. Subtle yet powerful adjustments that transformed his stability almost immediately. Within a year, Thomas went from frequent falls to 0 incidents. He even regained enough confidence to hike moderate trails with his grandchildren. His transformation wasn't magic, it was methodical. For the past 2 years, I've consulted with top geriatric physical therapists and balance specialists from renowned medical centers. I've also observed the natural walking patterns of older adults who maintain exceptional mobility well into their 80s and 90s. The insights I gathered completely changed my understanding of walking in balance. These techniques are not temporary fixes or exercises you'll eventually abandon. They're permanent adjustments that become automatic, a new way of moving through the world that your body will thank you for. These techniques are especially valuable if you've noticed changes in your stability, experienced a recent fall, or simply want to maintain your independence as you age. Adjusting the way you walk might sound simple, but the impact it can have on your life is profound. If you or someone you know has experienced a fall or struggles with balance, don't miss out on learning these life-changing techniques. The 4th secret alone is worth knowing because it's something you do dozens of times a day, but likely backwards, unknowingly putting yourself at risk. If you find this video helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more practical, evidence-based advice on how to live confidently and independently as you age. Your support helps us continue creating content that empowers older adults to live their best lives. And if you or a loved one has faced a fall, comment "balance" below to show your commitment to transforming your walking technique and reclaiming stability and confidence. Let's learn to walk safer together. Our first walking secret might surprise you because it has nothing to do with your feet. It's actually all about your eyes. Let me ask you something. Where do you usually look when you walk? If you're like most older adults, you probably look down at the ground just a few feet ahead. That seems logical, right? You want to spot potential hazards before you trip over them. But here's the paradox. Looking down actually increases your fall risk significantly. When you walk with your gaze fixed downward, several things happen at once, and none of them are good for your balance. First, your head tilts forward, which shifts your center of gravity out of alignment. This puts extra strain on your neck and upper back muscles, making them tighten. Your shoulders start to round forward, which not only affects your posture, but also your stability. Most critically, your balance system, the one that relies on visual cues, receives incomplete information about your surroundings. This distorted sensory input means your brain has to work harder to keep you balanced, increasing the risk of a fall. This is where the 3-point gaze technique makes a remarkable difference. Thomas, the retired engineer I mentioned earlier, learned this technique from his physical therapist during his recovery. At first, Thomas felt skeptical. It felt completely unnatural, he admitted. I was convinced I'd trip if I wasn't constantly looking down. But within days, his whole posture changed, and so did his confidence. Here's how the three-point gaze technique works. First, establish your near point, about 10 to 15 feet ahead. This distance gives you plenty of time to notice any obstacles without compromising your posture. Your peripheral vision will still catch closer hazards, so you're not missing anything. Next, periodically lift your gaze to your far point, the horizon or your destination. This simple upward glance naturally straightens your spine, helping to reset your posture. Aim to do this every 10 to 15 seconds as you walk. The third and most crucial part of this technique is consciously engaging your peripheral awareness. Practice expanding your side vision to detect movement and obstacles without needing to turn your head. This helps your brain process more spatial information, keeping you balanced. Thomas made a habit of practicing this technique during his daily neighborhood walks. He would choose a landmark in the distance, keep his eyes on the near point, and periodically glance toward his destination. After just 2 weeks, Thomas noticed he was standing taller, breathing easier, and walking with much more confidence. The science behind this is fascinating. Research published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity shows that your gaze direction significantly influences your walking mechanics. When subjects looked down, they exhibited increased postural sway and reduced step length, both of which are associated with a higher risk of falling. Conversely, those who used the three-point gaze technique demonstrated greater stability and more confident movement. Even more impressive, their reaction time to unexpected obstacles improved by nearly 20%. Be honest, do you usually look down while walking? Type "guilty" in the comments if you've caught yourself doing this. Don't worry, you're not alone. Just becoming aware of this habit is the first step toward change. It's crucial to understand that while the gaze technique is powerful, it's just one part of the equation. It delivers its full benefit when combined with our second walking secret, which addresses what happens from the ground up. Stay tuned, because learning to master your footing will make all the difference. If this tip helped you, hit the like button and subscribe for more practical advice on maintaining your mobility and independence. Share this video with someone you care about, because walking confidently shouldn't be a luxury, but a right for everyone as they age. Our second walking secret focuses on something that many older adults overlook, but is crucial for maintaining balance and stability: how your foot makes contact with the ground. This seemingly simple aspect of walking is often done incorrectly, leading to unnecessary risks and instability. Have you ever watched a young child walk? They have a natural, fluid motion where the heel touches first, then the foot rolls forward to the toe. This motion seems instinctive, and it's how humans are designed to walk. But as we age, many of us develop walking patterns that can lead to falls and a lack of stability. You might notice that as we get older, some of us either land flat-footed with the entire foot hitting the ground at once, or worse, we end up walking toe first. While this might feel natural or comfortable in the moment, these altered walking patterns can wreak havoc on our stability. Walking flat-footed means you lose the natural shock absorption that our bodies need to cushion the impact with each step. Without this shock absorption, the force of each step is not evenly distributed, and this can lead to jerky, unstable movements. These movements can make it much harder to maintain balance, increasing the risk of a fall. On the other hand, toe-first walking can be even more destabilizing. When you land on your toes, it's like walking on a tightrope. Your base of support becomes dangerously narrow, which leaves you more vulnerable to stumbling and falling. The correct technique, which is called the heel-to-toe roll, is simple yet powerful. It's how humans are naturally designed to walk, and it's the key to improving your stability. Here's how it works. With each step, your heel should be the first part of your foot to make contact with the ground. Then, as you shift your weight forward, your foot should roll smoothly along the outer edge, finally pushing off with your toes. This movement creates a stable, triangular base of support throughout your stride and allows your ankle to properly absorb shock. For Thomas, this was a game changer. Thomas had been walking flat-footed for years, and during his physical therapy sessions, he was introduced to the heel-to-toe roll technique. The first week practicing the heel-to-toe roll felt awkward and exaggerated, Thomas said, but by week 3, my balance improved dramatically. Now it feels completely natural. Dr. James Richardson, a rehabilitation specialist with over 30 years of experience studying gait patterns, explains why this technique is so effective. The heel-to-toe roll engages your ankle's full range of motion, distributing forces efficiently throughout your entire leg. This prevents the jerky, unstable movements that often precede a fall, helping to stabilize your body as you move. If you suffer from foot pain or arthritis that makes heel striking uncomfortable, don't worry. You can still practice this technique by starting with shorter steps and gradually increasing your stride length as your comfort allows. Proper supportive shoes are also essential for making this technique easier to practice and more effective. And we'll discuss footwear in secret number 5. To practice the heel-to-toe roll, start by walking slowly along a straight line. Consciously focus on touching your heel first and then rolling smoothly through to the toe. Focus on the transfer of weight rather than speed. Just 10 minutes of mindful practice every day will help create the muscle memory you need for this technique to become automatic. Take a moment to try it now. Take 5 steps, consciously using the heel-to-toe roll. Do you feel a difference in your stability? Comment "smooth" below if you noticed a positive change. Now that you've got the foundation down, let's move on to secret number 3, which involves the forgotten stabilizers, muscles and systems that most older adults neglect when walking. The third walking secret introduces what physical therapists refer to as the forgotten stabilizers, your core muscles. Most people typically associate core strength with fitness enthusiasts doing sit-ups or targeting their abdominal muscles for Beachbody goals. However, your core muscles serve a far more crucial purpose than simply shaping your midsection. They are the central stabilizers of your entire body, essential for maintaining balance, especially while in motion. Here's the issue. As we age, we often unconsciously neglect these vital core muscles when we walk. Rather than actively engaging the muscles in our midsection, we allow them to go slack. This causes other areas of our body, like the back, hips, and knees, to overcompensate. The result is a chain reaction of instability that significantly increases our risk of falling. By failing to engage our core, we're essentially setting ourselves up for a lack of control and poor posture, both of which contribute to an increased likelihood of a fall. Thomas, for example, never considered his stomach muscles while walking. It seemed completely unrelated to balance, he admitted, but once he learned to engage his core, he felt an immediate difference. It was like someone had suddenly tightened all the bolts on a wobbly piece of furniture, Thomas said. This was his aha moment, realizing just how much stronger and more stable he felt by simply turning on his core muscles. The technique to engage your core is simple and doesn't require any complicated exercises like crunches or planks. Physical therapists use a method called the zip-up technique, which is a subtle movement that can easily be incorporated into walking. Essentially, you want to imagine gently drawing your belly button toward your spine, not by sucking in your stomach, but by creating a slight internal lift and tightening. This movement should be subtle. No one would even notice you're doing it. The key is to engage the core by about 20 to 30% of your maximum effort, just enough to create stability without causing tension or stiffness in the body. At first, Thomas found it hard to remember to engage his core while walking. To help him stay consistent, he created a simple reminder system using small colored dot stickers placed at key locations in his home, on the refrigerator, by the front door, and on his bathroom mirror. Each time he spotted one of these dots, it prompted him to check if his core was engaged while walking for the next minute. This simple reminder system worked wonders and helped him establish the habit over time. Studies from the National Institute on Aging have shown that core stability is directly linked to fall prevention. Their research reveals that older adults who consciously engage their core muscles while walking show significantly better recovery when they stumble or encounter uneven surfaces. This means that when you're engaging your core, your body is better able to absorb shock and stabilize quickly if something unexpected occurs, helping prevent a fall. However, the most common mistake people make when trying to engage their core is overdoing it. It's essential to remember that the goal isn't to create rigid tension, but to provide gentle, sustainable support. You should be able to breathe normally and maintain a conversation while using this technique. If done correctly, it should feel like a natural part of your movement, not a strain. For individuals who suffer from back pain, core engagement can also offer relief. By supporting the spine properly during movement, this technique can alleviate discomfort and provide better posture while walking. Start with brief periods of practice and gradually increase the duration as the technique becomes more natural to you. Have you ever thought about your core muscles while walking? If not, try engaging them the next time you go for a walk and let me know in the comments how it felt. But here's where most people get things completely backward. Our fourth secret involves a part of your body you're probably using incorrectly every single step you take. Let's dive into it next. Our fourth walking secret reveals a surprisingly common mistake that many older adults make every single day without realizing it: how they use their arms when walking. If you've ever observed a child walking, you've probably noticed how naturally and freely their arms swing in rhythm with their steps. It's an effortless motion that helps them stay balanced. Now compare that to how many older adults walk. Often their arms barely move at all, held stiffly by their sides or clutched together in front of them. This seemingly harmless habit actually contributes to a significant increase in fall risk. Here's the reason why. Your arms act as natural counterbalances to your lower body when you walk. When your right foot steps forward, your left arm should swing forward to help maintain your equilibrium. This opposing motion stabilizes your entire body and prevents excessive rotation in your torso that could lead to a fall. When you walk without allowing your arms to swing, your body struggles to maintain stability, leading to a higher risk of losing balance. But there's more to it than just balancing your body. Proper arm swing also enhances your walking momentum, reducing fatigue over time. The rhythmic movement of your arms helps keep you moving forward with less effort. Furthermore, it improves proprioception, or your body's awareness of its position in space. Proprioception is essential for maintaining balance, especially as we age, and restoring proper arm swing can enhance this sense of awareness, making it easier for you to navigate your environment. The correct arm swing technique is known as the 45-degree swing. When walking, your arms should bend at approximately 45 degrees at the elbow. This allows for the natural front-to-back movement of your arms rather than side-to-side swinging, which can actually throw your balance off. The arm movement should feel relaxed, not forced, with your hands passing just by your hip pocket at the back of the swing. It's important to note that the movement should be effortless. Think of it as a pendulum, moving fluidly with each step. For many older adults, it can feel awkward at first to allow the arms to swing more freely, especially if they've been holding them stiffly at their sides for years. I realized I'd been walking with my arms practically frozen, but when I started practicing proper arm swing, I felt an immediate difference in my walking pattern. It wasn't just about the mechanics. My whole body felt more balanced and confident. In fact, my daughter noticed the change before I even had a chance to mention these techniques to her. "You look years younger and so much more confident," she remarked. Thomas, a 72-year-old retired engineer who struggled with walking stability, also adopted this technique during his recovery process. He used a simple 3-day reset practice to reintroduce natural arm swing. Day 1 involved exaggerating his arm swing slightly to reactivate the movement patterns. Day 2 focused on walking with a normal arm swing while paying attention to the synchronization of his arms and legs. Right foot forward, left arm forward. On day 3, Thomas focused on relaxing his shoulders while maintaining the proper swing. After just 3 days, he felt more stable and energized. Research from gait analysis studies at the University of Michigan shows that proper arm swing doesn't just improve your walking efficiency, it significantly reduces fall risk. Their studies found that restoring natural arm swing can reduce energy expenditure by up to 8% and improve recovery responses after stumbling by as much as 15%. More impressively, simply correcting your arm swing can reduce the risk of falls by as much as 30% in adults over the age of 65. The most common mistake people make when swinging their arms is allowing them to cross over their bodies rather than swinging them front to back. This can disrupt your balance and create unnecessary strain on your body. The key is to let your arms move like pendulums in parallel planes, never crossing your center line. Take a moment to reflect on your own walking habits. Do your arms swing naturally, or are they held still by your sides? Share your thoughts in the comments below. You may be surprised at how something as simple as reintroducing a proper arm swing can make a profound difference in your walking stability and overall balance. Now let's move on to our fifth secret, which might surprise you because it involves something you're standing on right now, an area most fall prevention programs completely overlook. Let's dive into it. Our fifth walking secret might be the most overlooked yet critical factor when it comes to your stability: your feet and what you put on them. As we age, there are two significant changes that happen to our feet, both of which can greatly impact our balance and stability. The first change is related to the sensitive nerve endings in our feet that provide essential balance information to our brain. These nerve endings begin to diminish as we age, leading to a condition called age-related peripheral neuropathy. The second change is the weakening of the small but crucial muscles in our feet, caused by years of being confined in rigid, supportive shoes. This combination of factors creates a dangerous situation. Your brain receives less information about the surfaces you're walking on, while your feet have less strength to respond to changes in terrain. What makes matters worse is that many older adults unknowingly create what podiatrists call proprioceptive insulation by wearing the wrong footwear. For instance, thick-soled, heavily cushioned shoes, while seemingly comfortable, dramatically reduce your foot's ability to feel and respond to the ground beneath you. I was guilty of this myself. I used to wear thick-soled, cushioned, slip-on shoes that I thought were perfect for an older person. They felt comfortable, but my therapist soon pointed out that these shoes were actually balance blockers. They were making me less stable by preventing my feet from properly sensing the surface underfoot. To optimize stability and improve your balance, it's essential to choose walking shoes with these three critical features. 1. A low, wide heel. You want a heel that's not completely flat, but no more than a 1-inch difference between the heel and forefoot. This design promotes natural foot mechanics without throwing off your balance. 2. A thin, flexible sole in the forefoot area. This allows you to feel the ground beneath you and provides the necessary feedback for your brain to maintain balance. 3. Secure fastening. Choose shoes with laces or strong Velcro to ensure they stay on securely rather than slip-ons, which can slip off unexpectedly and throw off your gait. When Thomas, a 72-year-old retiree, switched to properly fitted walking shoes with these three features, he immediately noticed a significant improvement in his stability, especially on uneven surfaces. But footwear alone isn't enough. To further strengthen his feet, Thomas also began a simple foot-strengthening routine, which included exercises like toe spreading. While sitting down, spread your toes as wide as possible, hold for 5 seconds, and then release. Repeat this 10 times. This simple exercise strengthens the muscles in your feet and enhances their flexibility. Towel gripping. Place a small towel on the floor and use your toes to grip and scrunch it toward you. This exercise improves dexterity and strengthens the toes and arches. Marble pickup. Practice picking up marbles with your toes and placing them in a bowl. This is a great exercise for enhancing the flexibility and strength of the smaller muscles in your feet. Research published in the Journal of Podiatric Medicine found that just 6 weeks of these simple exercises can improve balance scores by 30% in adults over the age of 65. Even more impressive, participants reported greater confidence walking on challenging surfaces, such as grass or gravel. Dr. Emily Spall, a podiatrist specializing in movement science, explains that your feet contain 200,000 nerve endings designed to help you navigate your environment safely. The right footwear lets these nerve endings do their job, while foot-strengthening exercises enhance your body's natural stability systems. Now take a moment to look at your current walking shoes. Do they have all three critical features I mentioned? If not, consider making a change. Let me know in the comments if you've noticed a difference in your stability by changing your footwear. Now let's dive into the next walking secret that transformed Thomas's confidence, especially when walking on uneven surfaces, a technique that literally changed the foundation of his walking pattern. Stay tuned. Our sixth walking secret addresses a fundamental error many older adults make without even realizing it: walking with their feet too close together. If you've ever observed someone who seems unsteady when walking, you may notice that their feet often cross over an imaginary center line, creating an unstable, narrow base. This tightrope-like walking pattern essentially transforms your foundation from a stable rectangle to a precarious line. This dramatically increases your risk of stumbling and falling. The good news is that there's a simple solution to this issue, and it's called the widened base technique. The key is walking with your feet hip-width apart, not too far apart to create instability, but just enough to form a stable foundation. By maintaining this optimal stance, you create a stability rectangle beneath you that provides much more security. This technique is backed by balance specialists and is easy to integrate into your daily walks. Thomas, a 72-year-old retiree who had been struggling with balance issues, found this technique to be an absolute revelation. For years, he had unconsciously walked with his feet almost crossing over each other, which caused him to wobble side to side with each step. His physical therapist identified this narrow walking pattern as a major contributing factor to his instability. By correcting this, Thomas was able to significantly improve his balance and reduce his risk of falling. To practice, Thomas used a brilliantly simple method. He placed 2 parallel strips of painter's tape on his hallway floor, exactly hip-width apart. Several times a day, he would walk down the hallway, consciously ensuring that each foot stayed on its respective line. After just 2 weeks of practicing this, the proper walking width became automatic. When he returned to his regular walking routes, especially on uneven surfaces like grass or gravel, he felt significantly more stable. Of course, the optimal base width might vary slightly based on your body type and mobility level. Taller individuals naturally need a slightly wider base to maintain stability, while shorter people may find that hip width is perfect. If you have hip pain, arthritis, or any other joint discomfort, you may need to start with a slightly narrower base and gradually work your way up to the ideal spacing as comfort allows. A helpful mental image to visualize this technique is imagining you're walking along 2 parallel train tracks. Your feet should never cross over or step on the opposite track, which helps maintain the proper width without needing to look down constantly. This mental cue makes it easier to adjust your stance naturally as you walk. Research from the Gait and Balance Laboratory at Johns Hopkins University confirms the benefits of walking with an optimal base width. Their studies found that walking with an ideal base width reduces lateral sway by up to 40% and also decreases the need for compensatory arm movements required to maintain balance. For older adults, this means a significantly reduced risk of lateral falls, which are among the most common and dangerous types of falls. Dr. Lisa Constantius, a balance specialist, explains, "When we analyze fall patterns in older adults, we consistently see that narrow-based walking precedes lateral falls. Simply widening the base to optimal width can dramatically improve stability and prevent falls." Next time you walk, take a moment to notice whether your feet cross over each other or if they maintain a stable width. What do you observe? Share your experience in the comments below. And now let's dive into our final secret, which might be the most powerful of all. It addresses what happens between your steps, during the critical moments where most falls actually begin. Our 7th and final walking secret reveals something surprising about falls. They rarely happen during straight-line walking. Instead, most falls occur during what specialists call transition moments, those brief seconds when you're shifting from one state of movement to another. These critical transition moments include things like standing up from a seated position, changing direction or turning, stopping suddenly, stepping sideways, navigating through doorways, or moving from one surface to another, such as shifting from carpet to tile. The reason these transitions are so dangerous is that they catch us off guard, and often we rush through them without giving our balance systems the time they need to adjust properly. When you change direction or position, your body requires a brief moment to recalibrate. This is especially important as proprioception, the body's ability to sense its position in space, naturally decreases with age. Without sufficient time to adjust, your body's balance mechanisms don't have the chance to respond properly, increasing your risk of a fall. This is where the mindful transitions technique comes in and makes a dramatic difference. Thomas, my physical therapist, noticed that I would often make sudden, jerky turns when walking. She taught me the importance of inserting a deliberate pause before changing direction. At first, this felt unnaturally slow, But after practicing it, I realized how much smoother my movements became. Those wobbly moments, those near misses where I almost lost my balance, disappeared completely. The technique is centered around the 3-second pause, a simple yet incredibly effective practice that can prevent falls. The 3-second pause technique is about creating a brief but intentional stop before changing your movement pattern. During this pause, you stabilize your position, engage your core, which we discussed in secret number 3, and visually focus on where you're going next. By pausing for just a few seconds, your body gets the time it needs to reset, preventing any jarring movements that could throw off your balance. One of the riskiest transitions, and one that many older adults unknowingly perform incorrectly, is turning. Instead of twisting your upper body to change direction, you should use the pivot and step method. This means pausing completely, lifting your foot, and placing it in the direction you want to go. By allowing your body to follow the foot, rather than twisting while your feet stay planted, you create a smoother and more stable turning motion. Thomas implemented this technique by identifying high-risk transition points in his daily routine. For example, he recognized that getting up from his favorite chair, navigating the turn at the bottom of his stairs, or moving through the narrow bathroom doorway were all situations where he was vulnerable to losing his balance. At each of these locations, he practiced the deliberate pause. To make this easier, Thomas placed small red dot stickers at these transition points in his home as reminders. Over time, the pause became automatic, and he no longer needed the visual cues. Research from the Fall Prevention Research Laboratory at Oregon Health Sciences University found that transition moments account for an astonishing 87% of falls in adults over 65. Their studies showed that implementing a brief pause before transitions reduced fall incidence by 47%, making it one of the most significant interventions in fall prevention research. This simple technique doesn't just improve balance, it drastically reduces the likelihood of falling. To master this technique, try this simple daily practice. Choose 3 to 5 common transitions in your home, like standing up from your chair, turning a corner, or stepping down from a curb. For 1 week, deliberately practice the 3-second pause before each of these transitions. Focus on keeping your movement smooth and deliberate, rather than rushed. Take your time and stabilize yourself before proceeding. After a week, reflect on how this practice has changed your movement patterns. Have you noticed fewer near falls or a sense of greater control? It's important to remember that these small adjustments in your routine can have a lasting impact on your balance and overall confidence. Think about the last time you almost fell. Was it during one of these transition moments? Maybe you lost your balance while turning to pick something up, or while stepping sideways to avoid an obstacle. Share your experience below. By reflecting on your own transitions, you can become more mindful of where you need to slow down and reset your balance. These 7 walking secrets aren't isolated techniques. They work together as an integrated system that transforms how you walk, making you more confident and stable on your feet. By practicing them consistently, you'll notice improvements in your walking patterns, your overall balance, and your confidence in moving through the world. Let's quickly review how each of these 7 secrets works together as a cohesive system. First, we have the 3-point gaze technique, which teaches you to look ahead rather than down, allowing you to maintain better posture and balance. Second, the heel-to-toe roll ensures that your foot contacts the ground properly, optimizing your gait and stability. Third, core engagement activates the stabilizing muscles in your midsection, providing a strong foundation for your body's movements. Fourth, the arm swing reset helps you re-establish the natural counterbalance of your arms, preventing instability. When properly integrated, these techniques don't just improve how you walk, they transform your entire experience of moving through the world. They allow you to reclaim your independence, reduce the risk of falls, and restore a sense of confidence in your everyday movements. For someone like Thomas, who once struggled with balance and fall risk, these techniques made a huge difference. His walking pattern shifted from tentative and unsteady to confident and fluid. He began standing taller, breathing more easily, and moving with purpose. But most importantly, he found joy in walking again. He no longer dreaded taking a walk. He looked forward to it as part of his daily routine. If you're interested in implementing these techniques into your own walking routine, here's a simple 7-day plan to get started. Day 1. Focus solely on the 3-point gaze technique. Practice looking ahead properly during all walking. Day 2. Add the heel-to-toe roll while maintaining proper gaze. Day 3. Introduce core engagement, connecting it with your breathing pattern. Day 4. Practice the arm swing reset while maintaining the previous techniques. Day 5. Evaluate your footwear and begin foot strengthening exercises. Day 6. Focus on the widened base technique using the parallel tracks visualization. Day 7. Implement mindful transitions, especially when turning or changing directions. After completing the initial week, spend 2 to 3 minutes each day before your walk to mentally review all 7 techniques. Over time, they will become your new normal, and you'll find that walking becomes second nature. The most common question I receive is, do I really need to implement all 7 techniques? The answer is yes. These techniques work synergistically, meaning each one supports and enhances the others. For example, Patricia, 78, found that implementing the mindful transitions technique was the game changer for her. She realized that all her close calls occurred when she was turning too quickly. Similarly, Robert, 84, discovered that the widened base technique was the most helpful. He had never realized he was walking on a tightrope until his physical therapist pointed it out. Just widening his stance slightly made an enormous difference in his stability. Dr. Elizabeth Morrow, Director of Geriatric Rehabilitation at Midwest Health Systems, emphasizes that consistency is key. These techniques require repetition to become automatic, but the neuroplasticity of the aging brain is remarkable. New movement patterns can be established at any age with proper practice. Which of these 7 secrets do you think will help you the most? Comment with the number below. Remember, these techniques aren't just about preventing falls. They're about reclaiming the freedom, confidence, and joy that come with moving securely through the world. When you walk without fear of falling, whole new possibilities open up for you.